What would happen if you tried to raise an ice-type Pokemon in the real world? Not in a game. Not in an anime. But here. With real temperature. Real physics. Real consequences. Would it survive? Would it bond with me? Or would I lose control of something that was never meant to exist in this climate? For 30 days. I simulated what it would be like to hatch, raise, and train an ice Pokemon from birth. And by the end, it wasn't small anymore. It wasn't harmless anymore. And I wasn't sure I was ready for what it became. I didn't find the egg. I built it. Using layered crystalline polymers, internal cooling gel, and a programmable thermal core, I created a sphere designed to mimic the biology of ice-type species, inspired by creatures like those from the frozen tundras of the Pokemon world. The egg had one requirement. It could never rise above freezing. Core temperature, -2 degrees Celsius. External humidity, 70%. Low light conditions. If the temperature spiked even slightly, development could destabilize. I built a controlled cold chamber in my studio, insulated walls, refrigeration coils, condensation management. For the first 3 days? Nothing. No movement. No sound. Just a silent sphere radiating cold into the air. But on day 4, the frost patterns on the shell began to change. Instead of random crystal formation, the ice began pulsing outward in symmetrical patterns. It was reacting. And then the power cut out. For 47 seconds, the chamber warmed by almost 3 degrees. That might not sound like much. But ice life isn't built for fluctuation. When power returned, the shell had hairline fractures. I thought I killed it. Until the cracks started glowing from within. Day 7. The egg began vibrating. Not violently, rhythmically. Like breathing. The cracks spread slowly across the surface, releasing mist that rolled along the floor like fog on a frozen lake. And then, a sound. Soft. High-pitched. Somewhere between a chirp and the crackle of thin ice breaking. The top of the shell collapsed inward. 2 small glowing blue eyes opened through the mist. Its body was small, barely the size of a house cat. Translucent fur, almost crystalline. Tiny frost particles drifted from its back like snow shaken from a branch. It took its first step. And the metal surface beneath it frosted instantly. The room temperature dropped by 2 degrees in under a minute. It wasn't just cold. It was generating cold. And when it looked at me for the first time, I couldn't tell if it was curious or calculating. I couldn't keep it in a simple cold box. If this creature was going to grow, it needed a habitat. So I designed a fully climate-controlled ice terrarium. Double-insulated acrylic walls. Industrial cooling units. A programmable artificial snow system. Inside, I built layered ice platforms reinforced with transparent supports. Frosted artificial plants designed to withstand freezing temperatures. A circulating cold mist system to mimic glacial airflow. The goal was stability. The problem? Ice melts. Even in controlled environments, small heat leaks caused structural drip points. Twice, I had partial collapse in the upper ice structures. One night, condensation short-circuited part of the cooling system. The temperature rose dangerously. Inside the terrarium, the Pokemon began pacing. Frost spread aggressively across the glass. It wasn't panicking. It was reacting. Adapting. I realized something important. It didn't just survive cold. It could create its own. The next challenge, food. What does an ice Pokemon eat in the real world? Through experimentation, I created nutrient-dense frozen protein blends mixed with mineral-rich water formed into ice blocks. At first, it didn't trust the food. It would tap the block gently, freezing it further before consuming it. But by day 12, feeding became interactive. When I approached, it no longer backed away. Instead, it tilted its head slightly. Observing. Learning. Its size increased rapidly.
Time to play!
Fur thickened into sharper crystalline edges.
Look at the frost!
Its paws left visible frost trails wherever it walked. And once, when I reached slightly too fast, a pulse of freezing air shot outward instinctively. It wasn't aggression. It was defense. Which meant one thing. It didn't fully trust me yet. Day 18. I decided to test real-world exposure. Outdoor temperature, 6 degrees Celsius. Cloud cover. Light wind. I carried it outside carefully. The moment fresh air touched its fur, a visible aura formed. Tiny ice particles spiraled around its body. It stepped onto grass. The blades froze solid beneath its paws. When wind passed across its back, it responded instinctively, exhaling a faint stream of frost. The air temperature around us dropped dramatically. And then something unexpected happened. The nearby pond began forming a thin layer of ice. It wasn't trying to freeze it. It just existed. And existence alone altered the environment. That's when I realized, if this thing reached full strength, it could change ecosystems. At first, the abilities were subtle. Small frost breaths, localized temperature drops, surface freezing within a 1-meter radius. But on day 22, something changed. It became restless. Energy output readings spiked. When I approached, it didn't respond playfully. It stood still, eyes glowing brighter than before. Then it released a concentrated blast of freezing air toward the terrarium wall. Ice expanded instantly across the entire surface. The cooling units struggled to compensate. Internal temperature dropped dangerously low even for it. I had to override the system. For a moment, I thought I lost control. But then, it stopped, looked at me, and slowly lowered its head. As if it understood. That moment wasn't about power. It was about restraint. Day 30. It began before sunrise. Energy readings surged higher than ever recorded. Its body started emitting light beneath the crystalline fur. The terrarium walls frosted completely opaque. Inside, I could barely see movement through the ice. Then, a shockwave of cold expanded outward. Not destructive, but overwhelming. The frost cleared. And standing there was something entirely different. Taller. Stronger. Crystalline horns arching backward. Fur now layered like armored ice plates. The small hatchling I held in my hands was gone. In its place stood a creature that looked like it belonged in a glacier, not a studio. It stepped forward. The ground beneath solidified instantly. But when it reached me, it didn't attack. It leaned its head gently against my shoulder. Cold, but controlled. It had grown powerful. But it hadn't grown wild. What did I learn? Ice isn't just destructive. It's controlled energy. It's patience. It's precision. Raising this creature wasn't about dominance. It was about balance. Could it survive in the real world? Yes. Could it reshape it? Probably. Would I do it again? I don't know. Because when something has the power to freeze lakes, and you're the only one it trusts, you start to wonder. Are you raising it? Or is it learning how to live beyond you? And if one ice Pokemon can adapt to our world, what happens when the next one doesn't need permission?